I'm Lucas from WHU Inside Business, and welcome to another episode of the Italy series. Today, we are incredibly pleased to welcome our speaker, Mr. Luca Giovannini. Thank you so much, Luca, for giving us the opportunity to have this talk with you.
My pleasure.
To give a brief introduction about you and your career, you are currently Chief Digital Innovation and Analytics Officer at GI Group Holding, one of the leading companies in global staffing and HR industry located here in Milan. You started your career at Ferrari in the racing sector, winning the F1 Constructors World Championship 7 times. After your spell at Ferrari, you successfully founded 4 high-tech startups and entered a transforming HR sector in 2014. As a leader in innovation and business intelligence, you have been recently included in the list of the 500 Italians who matter in AI. We would like to take a step back and look in the past at your beginnings to tell a bit your story. So you were born and raised in Maranello, which
Yes.
for those who don't know, is a town in the heart of Emilia-Romagna where the Ferrari headquarters are located since the 1940s. In Italy, it is often referred to as Terra di Motori, land of engines. So could you tell us how the atmosphere of the place was and still is, and how much this did influence you also growing up and considering how you started your career?
Yes, so was and still is. So it was something, now is something different. So I'm 48. So when I was very young, I think around the 80s. So everything that you were surrounded by were about speed and performance. So if we were kids of 8, 10 years old, we were looking at motorcycles that we can elaborate to make them get a little bit more faster than the others. And you have to compete with your peers that has his own motorcycle, no? And so the sense of speed and performance, I think it was everywhere at that time. Now it's slightly different because of the situation that has changed, and I think that is impacting even a little bit the fact that now Formula One is different. But at that time, everything was about performance, speed, competition. So everyone raised it in an environment where you have to compete, you have to be faster than others. So it was super. And I think that another thing that is important to highlight is that watching every single Sunday Ferrari competing with the big constructor all around the world, I think that one lesson for me, I don't know, is the same for others, is that nothing is impossible. If a small town of 13,000 people, I think, at that time, was able to compete with BMW, Mercedes, nothing is impossible. So that was, if I have to remind of that age.
Okay, thank you for this testimonial. So you were at Ferrari, you went directly into the motorsport department.
Yes.
Being part of the Formula One team for 12 years, from 1995 to 2007.
Yes.
Until the end of 1999, you were senior quality assurance specialist, and after that you worked as process manager in business analyst. Could you explain in a few words what your roles were, what your tasks were at that time?
Yeah, this is the transcription to the current description of the jobs. No? But to explain in 30 seconds, I joined the team immediately after the schools because I was in love with motorsports. So I went to a specific school to become a mechanical. And then I entered the team when I was almost 19. So I was very, very young. And I had the chance to start immediately from the Formula One department, in the quality department, the quality insurance. So I was in charge to check some components that needed to be assembled on the car. And then, doing that job for several years, I've been put in an internal reskilling and a little bit upskilling program where everyone that was not graduated, so was not an engineer, could take an internal program, and the winners could get an engineering role without being an engineer. That was more or less, if I have to explain in 10 seconds. So I was one of the winners, so I could enter a sort of engineering role, and I've been chosen by the manufacturing department because I was in charge to check their components. And so I went to that department, being in charge for analyzing the processes and trying to improve the processes and methods, and being in charge for the monitoring of the components that went on the car. And then I experienced for the first time IT because I was completely mechanical driven because I needed to use systems, and I really fell in love. So I went to the Information Technology University while I was working. And then that gave me the opportunity to take an internal opportunity in 2003 because we decided to create the first data-driven platform to make decisions on the production based on data and not based on opinion. No? And by the fact that I was leading the processes, by the fact that I was entering the IT environment, I've been chosen to lead the project and then lead the department that we created after the project. So for the last 3 years, so from 2003, late 3, beginning of 4, end of 2007, because I left December 2007, I've been in charge for the department that was managing software and analytics for the production suite.
Okay, we're gonna come back to this data topic later in the questions. What I would like to ask you, so you were there in the golden era of Ferrari, what is considered to be the golden era.
One of the golden eras.
Yes. And obviously you experienced Italian excellence at its peak. What was the secret? Were there any learnings that you later applied to the business world? So we talked about nothing is impossible, but
yes, nothing is impossible is something that I experienced by the environment. It's a good question. So the secrets, first, team first. So I can remember exactly the situation in 95 and the situation in 99. So in that 3 years, the focus after Michael Schumacher came to the team, and then after this, strong technicians follow him, and it was to create a winning mentality. So I remember that one of the first speech I heard from Ross Brown, that was the technical director, to the whole team, was we can't win in 1 year. We can start a new age, winning 2 races, the year 1, then staying constantly at podium the year 2, and then in the year 3 we can have the chance to win the championship. So getting a long-term strategy with in-between victories and steps, I think that gave us a lot of relax. And while we were experiencing that the prediction of Ross Brown were right. So the year 1 we won, I think, 1 race or 2 races, don't remember. And the year 2 constantly podium. Year 3, for the first time, we did challenge for the championship. So you create a very important trust on the leadership. So this is a good takeaway, because every time after, when I speak to my team related and even to the organization, related to what we're going to do, I always talk about 3 years. And in year 1, we're going to get this, year 2, get that, and year 3, we'll get to this. And I experienced that this is a good way of working, that is creating trust in what you're doing in the team. Another important lesson learned is the time to market. So Formula One is one of the more innovative area that you have in the workplace. But you have to create the right innovation in the right time and ground it very very quickly and faster than others. So many times from the idea generation, the concept creation, and then the industrialization of the things and make it usable for the users is too long. So time to market, because I think it was 2004, 2005 probably, the claim of the company was the race starts at 2 o'clock. So you can do whatever you want, but on Sunday at 2 p.m., because at that time it was only 2 p.m., not like now, the car has to be on the grid and with great chances to win. So time to market is important. We have deadlines are important, and we have to be sure that we will be in time.
Thank you for these key takeaways, which I think can be very important.
I can speak hours about these takeaways, but yes.
I think this can really be interesting for the listeners, because many people try to find parallels between different words to efficiently apply them. So what I would like to do now, we jump in time to today. We talk about what is maybe the biggest topic today, which is artificial intelligence. So as we mentioned at the beginning, you have been recently included in the list of the 500 Italians who matter in AI. Can you think about the first time you heard about this topic, about artificial intelligence?
Yes, I can picture this. It was something deeper than AI, because it was the first time that I heard related to neural network. It was, I think, 2004. It was one of my colleagues that left my department and went in another one, and he was thinking about neural network to manage the starts. And I remember that this guy is a genius, still a genius. And I remember that from that time onward, I started being very fascinated by this topic. So I always keep AI in my mind, but always in a very useful way. So I'm not being distracted in the latest years related to all the fancy stuff that typically and periodically went out. But the first time it was 20 years ago. 20 years ago.
Okay.
It was not called AI at that time.
How was it called?
It was called statistics, mathematics. It was something kind of that, if you think about AI, it's just statistics and mathematics applied with a very important capacity of calculation. But that's it. It was not AI at that time, but for me it was AI.
Okay. And could you give us a quick example of how you are implementing artificial intelligence today in your company, your work?
Yes. There are two ways, I think, to implement AI in the staffing business. It's not something that is just related to us. Yes, now we are on the spotlight because of this list, and I think that we are we are front runner in this side, but there is the whole environment that is moving in this. The staffing business is a very high volume business with very low margin. So it's just operational efficiency. So how you can automate and augment recruiters' capacity is making a difference. So if you think that the 30% of 30, the official numbers is about from 30 to 40, they changed accordingly to the profiles, but from the 30 to the 40% of the time that is needed to recruit one person, 30-40% is to check these papers, to check the resumes and understanding if the person, the candidates, has the right skills and experience or not. It's very time consuming, first. Second, a recruiter is able to check more or less the 10% of the candidates that she receives. So one thing, it's about supporting the candidate, the recruiters, in screening, pre-screening the candidates. So we're developing an algorithm that is thinking in the way that the recruiter is thinking, because we are checking the way that the recruiter is working, supporting and designing a solution that is thinking in the same way of the recruiter does, in order to help the recruiters to pre-filter many candidates and then check it, just the final result. So for instance, for me, Michael, John, Paul, they are eligible for this job. Take a look at. Okay, this part made by the machine is super, because we are not substituting, we are augmenting, because the recruiter is still doing the job, because by the habits of the recruiter, we can retrain the algorithm. So the recruiter is still doing the job, but we are adding more candidates. So with a double effect. Number one, the recruiter can really evaluate more candidates. Second, we are giving to more people the chance to get a job. So it's super. And this is one example related to the automation. Then there is the augmentation, because by using the data, checking the habits, we can understand if, as we are a multinational company, so we are in more than 40 countries with a relevant business. So by collecting all the experience, we can provide some advices to sales. So for instance, look, this kind of clients, typically after 3 months that you sell this service, is asking for that service. Going is a sort of GPS for sales. So, and it's really empowering our people, unleashing their human potential.
For many people, the biggest risk or presumed risk of AI is that they might lose their job because they might be replaced by this artificial intelligence. Looking at your sector, the HR staffing sector, how do you deal with those kind of risks or fears, if there are any, and what are the current challenges at the moment?
Okay, so risks are evident. No, there are in every disruption there are risks. So there was in the Industrial Revolution, the first, the second, whatever. There are, as always, risks in everything that is related to innovation. Probably now there is a little bit of overestimation of this risk, because in the end there will be jobs that could be a little bit more impacted by AI, and others that is going to be impacted a little bit less. But if you think about staffing, so if the question is about staffing, so what we do, so in the end is a very human-driven business. So there is a recruiters that is dealing with candidates, so it's human to human. So you can put a little bit of AI in between, sure, but in the end it's human-driven. So I think that the jobs that is going to be impacted, I think, because I don't think when a machine is going to replace the human, but impacted are the ones which is the current weight of human factor is very poor. So job that should be automated immediately, because the human factor and human value is nothing, or is almost nothing, that is very boring, repetitive. So in this case, the automation is something that is changing and is creating new jobs. If you think about, for instance, I don't know, a webmaster role. 20 years ago, a webmaster, it was one person that goes to the company, put in place the hardware, and then write the code, deliver the website, and everything. Now, for doing the same job, you have 30 roles. So this is going to change. So a recruiter will be a different recruiter. So I think that the difference is how good are you in using the AI. So I don't think that AI is going to take your job. A human that is using AI better than you do will take your job, because now we have to deal with this. Myself, I have to deal with AI. And if I'm not dealing with AI, there will be someone else that is dealing with AI better than I do that will take my job. It's normal, it's evolution. But I don't think that there will be jobs that is going to be taken. Job is going to be transformed. It's the same with the mail. When the email came, okay, everyone were thinking, okay, the traditional mail will disappear. No, change it. Just change it. But my position is that AI is not going to take any job. It's all about human.
Okay, from a general perspective to these developments, there have been obviously some reactions. Legislation. We're talking about the European AI Act.
Yes.
How is this regulation impacting your business?
I think it was a very good stuff. Finally, Europe moved first than others. So for us that we are implementing AI, having guidelines, because it's not rules, it's just guidelines now. It's just saying, okay, if you are working on AI, you have to know that in few years there will be legislation that will set boundaries on this topic. And I think it was very useful for us to get to know about what is going to happen, because we could address already the level of risks that we are going to take accordingly to the different AI solution that we're going to implement. So I think it was a very good stuff.
Okay, so we are widening a bit the perspective now. We are in Milan, we are in Italy. How do you rate Italy's stage of digitalization right now? Are there any specific industries or sectors that are leading the way? What is the current status?
First, I have to say that traveling all around the world, I see Italy finally on the same level of others, in any case, even more advanced. And I'm happy because we have not the tradition of being so advanced in digitalization. No? And even if you think about how the public administration changed in Italy, I think it's a good sign. So we can do payment, we can have access on our how do you say in our health system, where we can check if we have to do some exams, if we have to take some medications. I think that now on the public side, the things that they still have to do in a paper way, just few. So I'm happy about that. And related to industries, I think that probably, as always, is automotive leading the way. Because if you think about how cars did change in the infotainment, it's amazing. So now you can do everything but driving in car if you want. And even about how there is the digitalization, because I always connect digital to data, because digital is a way to get data. No? So the digitalization and datification related to this is putting Italy in a good position. Unfortunately, not in the same position of the big country now that are US and China in this side, that is going to take us under the risk of a strong digital colonialism if you come back to AI. But related to the digitalization, I think Italy is in a good way now.
Okay, good way to introduce the second last question. We're gonna go back to the beginning topic. So cars. As a car-loving person, obviously, it's been announced that Ferrari is planning to launch the first full electric supercar towards the end of 2025. No, and because of that, there is now a research facility focused on lithium cells and fast charging in collaboration with the University of Bologna. So, from a personal point of view, do you believe that battery only and hybrid models will dominate the car market eventually, or the luxury car market?
Okay, I think there is a big difference between hybrid and battery only, so the full electric. I experience, is a personal question, I experience myself to have a full electric car because when I want to understand a phenomenon, I want to experience. So it's complicated. It's complicated not for the car, but for the infrastructure. So in some market, the North European, Asiatic one, US, no, they could take the lead. So the full electric could take the lead in the normal car, okay, standard car. The hybrid is perfect, and I think that the combination of hybrid and full electric will take the lead. Yes, in supercar, no. So the decision of Ferrari is a smart decision because there are already some supercar constructors in Europe. There is a big one, very good one in Croatia. There is another one in the UK that they are start doing since I think 2015 full electric supercars. So Ferrari has to be in that kind of market. I think that if you think about luxury car, yes, could be a good way always in that market when you have the right infrastructures, the right legislation, and yes. But if you talk about supercar, no. I'm a supercar lover, and if you think about the claim of the race of motorsport is gentlemen, start your engine. So you cannot do. You have to start your engine, and you want to hear the noise of the engine. So and even I don't know if you experience an electric car, the style of your driving change a lot. It's very different. So and gentlemen drivers, they want to experience a pure supercar driving. We cannot fake this. We can. It's not possible to do it. So I think that supercar is going to be a niche, electric, and the lovers of supercar that want an electric car, Ferrari is going to be the best as always. But I don't think that is going to take the lead of the market. It's a good diversification.
Good. So we've almost come to the end. So we're going to ask you a question, which is a classic. So could you...
Your classic?
Yeah, from WHU Inside Business.
Okay.
We asked this many times. We'd like you to give us a book recommendation, or if there is an article or podcast you would recommend to our viewers at home.
Podcast or your podcast? For sure. No, and no, coming serious. I can tell you the last books that related to AI and motorsport. I like it a lot. The first one, the name is Total Competition, which is, I think that subtitle is Lesson in Strategy for Formula One, is from Ross Brown, the technical director of Ferrari and then Mercedes and previously Benetton. It's very good because it says how you can apply motorsport habits to your business. So you can understand a lot from this book. About AI, I read a book that I liked a lot and I suggest. The name is I, Human, from Thomas Chamorro Premuzic, that is highlighting the impact of AI, but even about how human by being unique in a certain way will survive and lead the situation. So these two books are the ones that I think it could be useful to take a look at.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Luca, for having this talk to you with your big experience and the insights you gave us. Thanks to the viewers. And yeah, stay tuned for the next episode.